Flames Nation, get ready.
It's B.J. Farrell, bounces over tackle, he's at the 10, the 5, light him up, touchdown Liberty!
Ground ball the other way, through into left field, a base hit, charging is Parrott, runner around third, throw coming home, he got it, ball game over!
Austin will drive to the rim, gets up, it's good with 1.5 left!
Hey Flames Nation, welcome to Flames Nation Insider, the inaugural edition of this episode, and we're pleased to be joined by Darian Graves. Darian, so great to have you here. And what is Flames Nation Insider?
You know, when I sat you down and we talked about Flames Nation, I'd love for it to just be this avenue that you're able to talk about sports, but not only through talking about it, but you're able to see it. So you're able to sit down here and bring athletes on, bring coaches on, and really just kind of get a more visual aspect of it and take what you guys have written on the Flames Nation website and put it more to a visual display.
Exactly, and as you all are aware, you can find us a number of different outlets. You know, obviously our website, which we started, libertyflamesnation.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we're adding another element here with the Flames Nation Insider account, which is we've set up a channel on YouTube, which you can go ahead and subscribe to us there. And this will be a frequent episode that we do, and Darian's going to be our host going forward. And so Darian, tell us a little bit about your background and what you're planning to do going forward.
Yeah, so I'm a sophomore here at Liberty University. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been blessed to be able to be a part of the school communication here. I've gotten a chance to work with ESPNU and Hero Sports. I announced play-by-play and color games at Lynchburg College, as well as here for some of the D3 and D2 hockey games. And just trying to be well-rounded. And so when I saw that Flames Nation was something that was passionate about the school, that was looking to really branch out and brand the school as much as possible, I thought it would be a perfect avenue for me to just kind of get on board. And we met up with you and take it to the next level. And so now, as the many Flames Nation viewers that we're going to have, to be able to talk about baseball, basketball, football, all sports really in Flames Nation, and kind of, you know, make people interested.
Yeah, that's great. We're really looking forward to it, and we're great to have you here, Darian. Looking forward to what the future holds. Now to get into some of the meat of this show, and not just talk about what Flames Nation Insider is, but actually what we're going to be covering as we go forward. Starting off with baseball. Baseball team opened up this weekend with a series down in Tampa, Florida, against the University of South Florida, where they took one of 3 games in the 3-game series. Got a win on Saturday and then lost Friday and Sunday afternoon. To start off the season 1-2 record. South Florida is ranked in the top 25 of all major Division I top 25 polls. One big bright spot for the Flames this weekend was true freshman outfielder DJ Artis. Got batted 6 of 12, 500 batting average through the first 3 games. He also had a triple, a home run. Had four RBIs and 4 runs scored, so definitely a bright spot for the Flames starting off this season. Artis is a guy from North Carolina, was drafted in the 2015 Major League Baseball draft by the Boston Red Sox, but he decided to continue his career with the Flames, playing baseball in college. And moving forward, Jim Tillman and his club will be down in Myrtle Beach this weekend, where they'll be taking part of a tournament down there, playing 4 games against the likes of Marshall, Duke, and Ohio State.
Now let's get into some Flames football. The Flames red hot this season, not doing as well as what they wanted to do, but 2 players definitely doing as well as what they wanted to do, Josh Woodrum and John Lunsford. John Lunsford, our kicker, and Josh Woodrum, the quarterback here. Both will be competing down into the NFL Combine this week. Josh Woodrum will be listed as a throwing quarterback right now there as one of the 3 that will be doing that, so he'll be throwing to all the wide receivers this weekend, being able to showcase a lot of that range that you guys saw here in Flames Nation. John Lunsford kicking as best as he really could all week and all summer, I guess you could say that. Just staying in his workout and routine. I talked to one of the Flames football players about a week ago, and they really said that John Lunsford is just locked in right now, very focused and excited to go into the draft.
It is the end of February, and we've got March right around the corner here, and we all know what that means. Basketball fever, March Madness right around the corner, and with new head coach for the second time, Richie McKay back in Lynchburg leading the Flames. He's got a lot of Flames Nation excited. You know, they just came off a 7-game winning streak, came to an end this weekend with games against Radford and Presbyterian. But last week of regular season, 2 more games left, and they still got a chance for a top 5 finish in the Big South and a first-round bye.
No, and I think that something we shouldn't even be in this situation. If anybody would remember where we were at in January, anybody remember where we were at in November, there was no expectation really for this basketball team. So to be having this conversation and saying 7-game winning streak, 9-2 in January, from January 6th, and to that Radford loss, a lot of things were, not expected to happen. Really, I didn't even think that the team was going to be able to win 10 games. Sure. So coming off of that, just a huge congratulations to all that's been able to happen. But looking ahead, or looking so much as to what they've done so far there in January, looking at that 7-game win streak, I think that defense is just kind of something that stood out, and I think that's something we haven't seen so much in these two recent games.
Yeah, it's something since McKay's been here. Obviously, he was the last 6 years up in Charlottesville with Tony Bennett, where he got an education in the pack line defense, and he's brought that here and he's installed it here. It's taken some while to get going. He said before the season started, taking probably 3 seasons to get it fully going. But during that getting the 7-game win streak, they were holding opponents under 60 points per game. The pack line seemed to be working at its optimal, and towards the end of the win streak, game wins against Winthrop. Down towards the end, they gave up 77, 76 points in those games. So it seems like the defense kind of faltered a little bit, stumbled a little bit. I know Winthrop's the top scoring offense in the Big South, but then they gave up 79 points against Presbyterian here in the loss on Saturday night. So they need to get back to defense.
Yeah, defense, exactly what you said. And I think that I feel like they're a live by the 3 type of team. They shoot a lot of threes, they make a lot of threes, but when your 3 ball's not working, you have to rely on your defense. And if Coach McKay had it his way, they'd be relying on defense all the way throughout. And I think that we said it before, it's just that once they get back on defense, once they're able to rely on their defensive effort and stopping teams, scoring 70, 80 points in a game, that's a lot. And that can only happen so much, especially when you start playing, teams like the top dogs in the
Winthrop,
conference.
UNC,
yeah, Winthrop,
Asheville.
and they did. They beat those teams early on, but once you see somebody twice, once you see somebody 3 times throughout your season, you start to find some of those nicks where they're strong at, where they're weak at, and I think that the Flames can really rely on that defense and kind of going into it, looking ahead. Going into the game against UNC Asheville, looking ahead, going into Gardner-Webb. Those are 2 very good teams, 2 very big possibilities for the Flames to get wins in. That to get 2 more wins going into the end of the season, that'd be huge for the Flames.
Yeah, and it's going to be their defense. They're going to have to ride the momentum of the defense, and hopefully they can get back to where they were playing before these last 2 games, where they kind of stumbled a little bit. Get back to where they were playing when they were winning 7 games in a row. But you had this next feature we're really excited about. You had a chance to speak with Anthony Fields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I asked Anthony if he'd be down for an interview, and he said, of course. And so let's take a look at that interview with our guard, our only senior, Anthony Fields. How's it going, everybody? It's Darian Graves here. I'm here with Flames Nation Insider. I'm here with senior and captain Anthony Fields. Anthony, so coming into, it's your first year here at Liberty. Tell me a little bit about what the transition period was coming out of high school to getting here at Liberty. I know that it's your last year of eligibility, so what does that look like, and how did you get here at Liberty?
Well, first and foremost, Coach Kyle Getter was an assistant at VCU, and he actually coached one of my teammates in high school, so we had a relationship. Once I started to transfer from Bradley, I didn't really know where I was going to end up, but he made a call to me, and I came out here for a visit. I met Coach McKay. I seen the wonderful facilities, and I was blown away, so I wanted to come here and be a part of the family.
So you said you saw the facilities. What was that like coming in the recruiting process? Was it you were deciding between Liberty and some other school, or was it more just like Liberty?
It was some other schools, some ACC schools, some Conference USA schools, but I just didn't know what was the perfect fit. But when I got here, I seen obviously that I would be the only senior, playing time would be great, and just growing, spiritually was a huge deal for me. So my parents were blown away, and I was as well.
So now that you're here, you're glad that you made the decision, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now just a question, you talk about being that senior. And what does that look like as a leadership role? You said that you get a lot of playing time, so obviously that's something that's attractive, but spiritually as well. But you looking more into that leadership role with a lot of guys, there's a lot of young guys on this team, a lot of guys that haven't played a lot of minutes coming into the season. What does that look like for you in that role?
Well, when I sat in the office with Coach McKay, one thing he told me was, if you're not ready to serve, do not come here. So serving by any means is, helping other guys, being a mentor, being a big brother, and, sharing my experiences that I had as a college athlete, in my 4 years, and here being a fifth-year senior, teaching those guys to overcome adversity, and it's helped.
So you said that coming here as that fifth-year senior, what does it look like? Some of the guys that you kind of, are you that big brother role? Are you that captain out on the court who's going to yell and scream with them? What does more of your leadership role look like in the locker room and kind of on the court as well?
I feel like I'm all of that. I mean, I'll say whatever I need to say on the court. And, when we're in the locker room, obviously we hang out, we joke around. But if those guys need any pointers, they come to me, and I give them a genuine evaluation because I know I was in their shoes before, and I would have wanted somebody to tell me the same thing, so I'll make sure I do that.
So now that you're out on the court, in that leadership role, you guys had a lot of success coming into the season. Take us through a little bit of the downs and ups. Coming off, you guys were 2-0 at first, and you guys kind of hit a big skid. Tell me a little bit about that, and then bouncing back coming into that 7-game streak.
Well, like you said, we have a young team. A lot of these guys, that was their first collegiate games. They were still adjusting to the backline defense, adjusting to the new staff, and just the speed of the game. And our coaching staff always told us to stick with the process, and we did that. And obviously, John Dawson came available, and his leadership brought more things to the table, his abilities, and we just started to gel, man. But this is a resilient group. Those guys are remarkable. Our coaching staff, everybody sticked with the process, and we're starting to reap the benefits a little bit.
So you talked about just the resiliency. Was that, I think it was hard coming in as that senior and then saying like, man, I don't know what role I'm really going to play right now, with all these young guys, but you guys have been resilient, staying with the pack line defense and Coach McKay, new coaching staff, young team. There's just a lot of change that came, especially for you, new school, coaching staff, new everything. Do you think that's kind of played to you almost all as advantage of not really having high expectations and then kind of just playing basketball?
Most definitely, man. When I was coming up out of high school, I wasn't highly tutored for a while. I got see some success when I went to North Carolina. I won 2 national championships. Played with some tremendous guys who are playing in the NBA now. But I was always kind of an underdog. When I was at Wake Forest, I had some success, had some downs. When I went to Bradley, it was the same thing. So I always looked at myself as being resilient and overcoming adversity. So when it happened here, it wasn't a shock to me. But I had to let those guys know, things can change. If you just stick with the process, there's a greater picture at the end. And we're starting to see the end result, and it's getting closer to that now. But we see some success, so it's huge.
You guys talked about success. 7-game win streak. You guys, going 9-2 since January 6th, and then that, a tough skid against Radford and then Presbyterian. Tell me a little bit about what the atmosphere was like when you guys were winning 7 games in a row.
We tried to stick with the process. Obviously, when you're winning, you get some praise. There's more people at the game. There's more people patting you on the back. That feels good. For those guys, being young, you never want them to get too high, and you never want to get too low. And obviously, we had a 2-game skid recently, but we came back in here, watched some film, got to work, and at the end of the day, what's good about basketball is you have another game to play. So that's what we're looking forward to.
So let's backtrack a little bit. Talked about that 2-game skid. Take us back to the Radford game. You guys were up, pretty much 3/4, 75% of the game, and then that last minute and a half, you guys kind of let it go. What was kind of happening in that time?
I want to say that throughout the course of the game, guys get hot. Certain teams, certain guys might step up. And respect to Radford, those guys stepped up and they made plays. We tried to execute the plan, and obviously some things didn't work out. But that's sometimes, and then Maxwell, he has an open look at the basket, doesn't go in, he put it in there. But that's how basketball is. Sometimes you can't win them all, and you can't make all the baskets. So
you win some, you lose some, you miss some, you make some.
That's right.
Now going into that Presbyterian game, you guys trying to bounce back with that momentum, and then now coming to that game. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's another game where you're a week from now you're in the race for first place, and now you're in the tie with a bunch of teams. That was a game where we really needed to win, and I think it was a lot of pressure on the guys. And instead of just going out there playing, I don't think we were focused on just executing and taking it easy. There were people in the stands, and obviously we know the circumstances. But I think it was a learning experience that we needed, and I would rather lose now than lose in March. So.
I agree with you. Now, just one more quick question for you. What does it look like, Big South? We're focusing on that. What is the mentality that you guys had coming into that? Is you guys were rated or ranked coming in the season bottom of the barrel. Now you guys, a week ago, were fighting for the first place spot. Now, right now, you're fighting for that on the bubble, 4, 5, 3 in that spot right there. What does it look like for you guys with hungry mentality?
Well, I think at the moment we've exceeded everybody's expectations. As you can see, we were picked last, and that's definitely not the case here. But we're not satisfied. We feel like we can go out and accomplish some great things. Obviously, our goal is to get to the NCAA tournament and to bring another league championship to Liberty, and that's our goal. But we're taking it one step at a time. So the next game is the most important game on our schedule, and that's how we're looking at it.
So coming into your game, you guys are about to get on the road for Thursday. Tell me the mindset coming into that is. Talked about that loss. Does that hurt you guys? Are you guys hungry to go back out there, or are you in the back of your head nervous that if we lose one more game, we could really potentially be hurting ourselves?
Obviously any loss is a slap in the face, but I think sometimes you need those to wake up. And I think we did that. We came to practice and we executed. We had a lot of energy, a lot of communication, and we just need to practice the way that we're going to play and then play the way we practice. And if you can do that, great things can happen, and that was a part of our run. We had great practices, and we practiced, the way we're going to play, and we played the way we practice, and that's our goal.
So practice now. Coach McKay, what's the mindset with Coach McKay? Nobody can really figure it out. He's gutsy sometimes, he's conservative sometimes. He's a heck of a coach. Like you said, in my opinion, I think he's up for Coach of the Year in the Big South. He's done an amazing job. What has he been telling you guys? What does he say to pour into you guys, to get you guys to really dive in and really breathe into the program?
He's obviously a huge follower of Christ. He tells us, don't play for the approval of man. Play for the audience of one. That's one of our pillars. And he definitely does that. Him and Coach Susie are great with the pack line. So our identity is in defense. So we run the pack line defense. That's how we win games. If you go back to that 7-game win streak, some of those games came down to us getting the stop, and that's what we did. Going back on the 2-game skid, we didn't do that. We didn't get stops, and we didn't play our defense. So Coach McKay's identity is in his defense, and he's a wonderful coach. He's definitely showed me some things, and he's been great with the younger guys. And just reverting back to when I was a freshman, you want a coach like Coach McKay, who cares about you. He's going to make you get better. He's not going to just give you anything. He's going to make you earn it.
You said it best. You talked about what it looked like you coming from Lake Forest to Bradley, then your success here at Liberty, and you picking the school, and now you've went through that rough time during the season. You guys have gone on that up time during the season. Now you guys are kind of in the middle. You've talked about everything, so I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like I said, it's Darian Graves here with Flames Insider, and Anthony Fields here. Hopefully the Flames get a W this weekend and on Thursday as well.
Well, that was a great piece there, interview with Anthony Fields. Always thankful for him to come out and share his thoughts on the season and his team and why he chose to come to Liberty. Looking forward to 2 big games as we close out the regular season. Liberty's starting off against UNC Asheville Thursday night. Tip-off's at 7 o'clock. UNC Asheville's currently tied for 2nd place in the Big South standings. They're at 11-5. They did beat Liberty 76-69 back on January 2nd in a game played in the Vine Center, and it was a game that UNC Asheville got out to a real big lead. They led by as many as 22 points before the Flames tried to make a comeback, came up a little bit short and fell. UNC Asheville has now won 8 straight games against the Flames as Liberty tries to stop that skid. And another thing is Liberty's won 4 consecutive road games. They haven't won 5 straight road games since back in the early 90s. So a big challenge for the Flames waiting for them on Thursday night.
Yeah, and looking ahead to Gardner-Webb game. The Flames, they played them earlier in the season, was able to get a win during that hot streak for them when they got it late in that January time. Since then, that was over back on January 29th. But Gardner-Webb, huge component, huge opportunity for the Flames to get a win. They're going to be rested. They haven't played in about 10 days. So they're going to be looking for the Flames to come in, and they're looking for something also on that border of 4 to 5 seed coming into this right now. So 2 teams on the line, a lot to fight for, a lot to really battle for, and it's the end of the regular season, so a lot to really kind of just let loose with.
Yeah, and it's a big thing they're trying to get the top 5 seed because the top 5 teams in the Big South Tournament get a first-round bye. So that's obviously something that probably very well could be decided Saturday against Gardner-Webb. That game will be in Lynchburg, Vine Center. Make sure you're there, 12 o'clock game. But anyways, that's going to pretty much wrap up this show. We appreciate you guys joining us. Darian, great to have you. We look forward to the future of Flames Nation Insider. And join us next time. We'll have a lot more for you. And a Big South Tournament preview. Also looking back at these 2 games against UNC Asheville and Gardner-Webb. We'll also hope to be joined by a Liberty player it'll be a surprise for you. You'll have to wait till next week to get that one. But, we're looking forward to that episode. Make sure you tune in.
Yeah, and make sure you guys like us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, flamesnation.com. You can see all of the posts. We'll even have this plugged out on the website on the video. And then our newly YouTube account, Flames Nation Insider. Make sure you guys go there for all Flames Nation updates. We have a teaser video. We'll also have these weekly or other bi-weekly videos. But thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys. Like I said, stay tuned for next week. We might have a surprise for you guys as a player, maybe even a coach. Who knows? We'll get some previews of women's basketball and men's basketball as well, and even some baseball. So thanks, guys. Have a nice night.